The next thing we want to talk about is the actual mechanism of breathing. Air moves between the atmosphere and the lungs in response to pressure gradients. Air moves into the lungs when pressure in the atmosphere is greater than pressure in the lungs. Air moves out of the lungs when pressure in the lungs is greater than the pressure in the atmosphere. And these pressure changes within the lungs caused by changes in the size of the thoracic cavity moves air in and out of the lungs. Whoops, here we go. So this is going to be done with the aid of several muscles. The intercostal muscles are going to be responsible for moving the ribs. They're going to move the ribs out, which is going to create a vacuum. It's going to increase the size of the thoracic cavity, cause the lungs to be drawn in and out and fill up with air. The diaphragm is going to be a sheet of muscle under the lungs right here. That muscle is going to contract and pull downward. As it does, it's going to also create a vacuum, causing the lungs to expand, fill up with air, and air will rush into the lungs and exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide in the alveoli. Inhalation, which is also caused inspiration, is what causes air to move into the lungs. Air moves into the lungs when the thoracic cavity increases in volume due to the contraction of the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles. Air rushes in because pressure in the lungs is less than pressure in the atmosphere. And the active process, it's an active process. It involves muscle contraction. Your lungs are not muscle tissue. Your lungs are not made out of muscles. They don't increase or shrink due to muscle contraction. The muscles that are found in between your ribs, your intercostal muscles and your diaphragm, are responsible for contraction to breathe in. In exhalation, also called expiration, air moves out of the lungs when the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles relax. The thoracic cavity is going to decrease in volume. Air moves out of the lungs because pressure in the lungs is greater than the pressure in the atmosphere. So once this intercostal muscles relax and this diaphragm relaxes, it's going to push upward, forcing air out of the lungs, and this is what causes you to breathe out. Here's a diagram that kind of goes through the movement of the muscles during inhalation and exhalation. So spend a little bit of time reviewing this diagram and let me know if you have any questions.